Welcome to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. This podcast features powerful hypnosis, so do not listen while driving or operating machinery. This recording is not suitable for those with epilepsy or severe mental health issues. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and in this episode of The Hypnotist, I'm going to be doing a hypnosis session based on the idea of inner peace and actually linking it to a symbol, but also you can call it an anchor if you use NLP terminology. But the inspiration for this session on inner peace is that it's my last full day of a 2-week vacation in an island called Mallorca in the Mediterranean. And beautiful island, Spanish island, amazing weather, amazing beaches, very beautiful. And just yesterday, my son, who I'm here with my children, was shopping for souvenirs, and he found a necklace with a rose quartz kind of pendant. As a hypnotist, I'm a big fan of pendants. You know, I think there's a perception that hypnotists use things like pendants and swinging watches and all those kind of things. It's a misconception. You know, I hardly ever use that as part of an eye induction. But I like what they represent, and I also am a big fan of crystals and gemstones and things like that. Partly because I like how they look, but also I like the placebo effect, or the link to perceived qualities linked to different stones and meanings. So something like tiger's eye, for example, might be linked to financial success and wealth, and something like quartz, for example, good for balance and, you know, inner peace and that kind of stuff. And I saw him buy this this pendant, this necklace, and on the side of it, it had peace. You know, the actual explanation of kind of what it does. So again, it's this presupposition that the crystals have powers, and a lot of people believe that. And, you know, I believe not so much in the powers of crystals, but the powers of belief systems. So I actually have a big collection of crystals and gemstones because they are anchors for me to access different resourceful states. So you don't have to necessarily believe in the powers necessarily. You can just believe in the belief system of belief systems, and that's more than sufficient for them to be effective. So I'm actually holding in my hand right now a rose quartz necklace, and this is the inspiration for a hypnosis session based on inner peace. If you like this recording, or if you want access to other recordings that aren't available on my podcast, then if you go to my website, which is adamcox.co.uk, and just as a thank you for listening to the show, you can use the coupon code FREE, and then you can get one of those downloads completely free of charge, normally worth about £10 or $12. So a bit of value added stuff for being a regular listener to the show. But for now, find a quiet place where you won't be disturbed, relax, and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in, and as you breathe in a feeling of calm and relaxation, and as you exhale, just allow any feelings of tension, stress, or worries to leave your body in the outward breath. As you breathe in, take a deeper breath than normal, and as you exhale, if it's safe to do so, allow your eyelids to close, enabling you to feel even deeper relaxed. Now That's it. Deeper and deeper relaxed. Continue to breathe in and breathe out, listening to the sound of my voice, but also paying attention to what's happening in your body. The speed of your breath as you breathe in and breathe out. If you pay close attention, perhaps you can even sense the rhythm, the speed of your pulse or your heart rate. Continue to breathe in and breathe out, and maybe you notice tension in parts of your body that up to this point in time you hadn't noticed yet. Maybe there's echoes of tension in your neck and your shoulders, around your eyes and your forehead, perhaps in your arms or even your legs. And as you breathe in and breathe out, I want you to get a sense you're breathing in a resourceful feeling of relaxation. And as you exhale, I want you to get a sense that tension is starting to melt away, starting to evaporate, so that in your outward breath, just feel that tension is now leaving your body. So as you breathe in this resourceful feeling of relaxation and exhale increasing amounts of tension that is leaving your body, then it stands to reason that with each and every breath, feel yourself going deeper and deeper, relaxed. Now, that's it. As your physical body relaxes, your mind can start to become more active, more alert. Isn't that what happens when you sleep? As your physical body rests, doesn't your mind become more active? Sometimes in just imagination, thoughts, sometimes dreams. And I want you to allow that part of your mind to be more awakened. As your body rests, awaken your mind to be more playful and more imaginative. I want you to imagine that your physical body remains exactly where it is, but your imagination floats somewhere else. And I want you to make a picture in your mind of a Mediterranean island. It doesn't have to be realistic, it's whatever your mind creates. It could be a small island, it could be a large island, but an island based right there in the Mediterranean. And imagine that this Mediterranean island is in the height of summer, perhaps August. I want you to imagine those blue skies. That's it, the sunshine. And perhaps you can imagine a beach on this Mediterranean island. And rather than just observing it like a bird's eye view, I want you to imagine that you're now floating down and standing on that beach. I want you to get a sense that here on this island, it's just a place for you to relax and enjoy. Any worries or concerns that can be left behind in the real world, here, right now, is just an opportunity to fully enable your body to relax. I want you to imagine there is a trader selling different trinkets and items on the side of the beach. I want you to have a look and I want you to see there is a selection of different items of jewelry, some made with shells, some with gemstones, some with crystals. And I want you to notice that a particular necklace catches your eye. I want you to see a pink crystal. You might think of it as just something unique looking, or you might know that this is rose quartz. I want you to see it long, thin. I want you to see it harnessed in a silver bracket attached to black leather lace. And I want you to get a sense that there's something special about this necklace. As you look into it, you can see perhaps the intricate patterns inside the crystal, getting a sense that this crystal might be millions of years old. You can see written nearby to this rose crystal pendant, peace. And there's some writing nearby that says, this crystal will give you inner peace. I want you to imagine handing money over to the trader, and then feeling the crystal in the palm of your hand. I want you to imagine walking back to the beach, noticing that the beach is completely deserted, just you on a beach. And I want you to notice that the sun is starting to set. Imagine there you are on the beach and the weather is still warm, not a cloud in the sky. And I want you to imagine there is the most comfortable chair there on the beach. Take a seat on that chair and look out to the sunset. I want you to feel the remaining sun still give you that warmth on your skin. As you breathe in and breathe out, just get a sense that more of that tension is leaving your body. Still holding that rose quartz crystal necklace there in your hand. And I want you to place it over your head and around your neck, just holding on to the thought of inner peace. And as you think about inner peace, you start to think about the opposite of inner peace. I want you to imagine looking at the waves and get a sense that sometimes the waves are calm. Almost there's a stillness on the surface of the sea, and sometimes they're choppy and wavy. And I want you to get a sense that sometimes your mind is like the stormy sea, choppy, volatile, restless. And sometimes your mind is like a calm sea, just as it is now. As the sun sets, see the calmness of the water, very still. I want you to hold on to that crystal, which is now just in the center of your chest, around your heart. Hold on to that rose quartz crystal, holding on to the idea of inner peace. I want you to get a sense that sometimes your mind can be restless, intrusive thoughts, different emotions. And I want you to get a sense that when emotions change from one thing to another, isn't that like the rise and fall of waves on the sea? And yet when you hold on to a single emotion for a prolonged period of time, then there's an absence of change, there's an absence of waves. I want you to get a sense that however choppy your mind is right now, holding onto this crystal, holding onto the idea of inner peace, is softening those waves. Looking out onto the sunset, I want you to imagine that any unfinished business, any unresolved emotions or issues, just imagine that the sun is setting on those issues, that the past is the past. And it would be crazy to allow past events to encroach on a brand new day. I want you to hold on to this idea of inner peace and feel like the sun is setting on those issues now. You've learned everything you've needed to. You're wiser for any experiences. You can always make new decisions on a new day, but for now, just agree that the sun is setting on those issues. You're quietening the mind, holding on to this idea of inner peace. As you hold on to this idea of inner peace, notice that your body relaxes even more, that you get a sense of stillness, of being left with just you and a quiet mind. And I want you to notice that as you look out to the still sea and the sun setting, the details that you might miss when the sea is choppy and wavy you can notice the reflection of the setting sun on the surface of the waves. You can appreciate that. If there is a bird flying over the sea, you can see it. But you wouldn't notice these things if the waves were choppy and restless. And therefore, as you find your own inner peace, notice that the thoughts that do come up allow you to give more focus, more of your attention on those. And maybe it's things that need to be addressed to finally let them go. Or maybe it's things that you still need to make a decision on. Maybe it's things that you need to take one final bit of learning or insight from before you can finally let that thought, that memory go. I want you to get a sense that inner peace quietens your mind so you can really pay attention to what's important. And what if what's important is the idea of just being left with a quiet mind? As you allow the mind to be quiet, allow your body to fully relax, notice that inner peace has a location somewhere within you. And I wouldn't be surprised if that feeling of inner peace is somewhere in close proximity to where the crystal is there in your chest. Maybe slightly lower in the solar plexus, maybe around the heart, or maybe right there in the chest or lower in the gut, but it's there in your torso, a feeling of inner peace. Tap into that, and perhaps the shape of that crystal on the necklace, you can now imagine that inside your body in the very location where inner peace is for you. And you can give it any shape, but maybe you give it the shape of that crystal. Maybe you give it the color of that rose quartz crystal. Because you won't always wear a necklace, particularly a necklace created in your own imagination. But you can always imagine a crystal, a pink crystal right there in the location where you know inner peace to be for you. Notice a stillness. There are certain emotions that are active, feel like they're spinning and moving. Perhaps excitement or courage. But inner peace is still. You can feel the stillness of that crystal in that location. And as you picture it, notice that your breathing slows. And as your breathing slows, your mind quietens. And as your mind quietens, notice how good it can feel to just relax. You can see the sun. The sun is just setting over the horizon now, there on the sea. And as it does, the sun is also setting on all of those issues that perhaps you've been holding on to for too long. Things that you might consider unfinished business. But you can close the chapter of a book and decide to reread it if you want. It just doesn't make sense to try and read a new chapter while simultaneously reading an old chapter. Allow that chapter to close. Allow the sun to set on the past, knowing that tomorrow brings a new day, and that a new day brings new opportunities to do things differently, to think new thoughts, create new ideas, make new decisions. And perhaps, with the stillness of your mind, you're able to make more useful decisions, have more profound or interesting thoughts, and perhaps navigate your life towards an even more desirable future. hold on to that feeling of inner peace, knowing that just by putting your hand there on that location where inner peace is for you, picturing that crystal in that location, breathing slowly, feeling that stillness of your mind, and perhaps even picturing a sunset can re-access this state of inner peace whenever you need it most. And sometimes when you need inner peace most is when the waves are most stormy, when the mind is most restless. And isn't it useful to now know that you've got the ability to quieten your mind and feel inner peace whenever you need it? And then you realize that this is just your imagination being playful. The necklace around your neck, the feeling of quietness, the beach, the calm sea, the sunset, is all just thoughts within thoughts, dreams within dreams, ideas within ideas. And actually, you're listening to me firmly in the present, in your physical body. Take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Just wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, get a sense that there you are back in your body, firmly in the present right now, because soon I will count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. You will awaken feeling resourceful, feeling complete inner peace, feeling that you have a quiet mind, feeling that the sun has set on anything that should remain there in the past. You will awaken feeling resourceful, optimistic, and a deep sense of inner peace. Starting to count to awaken you. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.
Thank you for listening to The Hypnotist with Adam Cox, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. To automatically receive the latest episodes, please subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, please share this episode with just one friend you think it could help. And if this episode helped you, please leave us a 5-star review.